Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Charity, we're ready to open if you're ready.
Okay, I will call the meeting to order. If we could have a roll call, please.
Oh, okay. Chris St. Germain.
Here.
All right. Christine Herbst,
Here.
Angela Pomponio, Charity Robinson,
Here.
and I'm here too. Oh, sorry. We've got two trustee elects here too. Brian Craig here and Jesse Daniels
Here.
Thank you.
Great. If we could all stand up for the flag salute, please. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. And if we could have a motion to approve the agenda.
I move that we approve the agenda for January 10th, 2022.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Are there any corrections or changes?
There was an addition of our snow day for approval at the agenda. It's highlighted at the bottom. I could scroll down. So that addition was from January 6th. We didn't have school.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public input for tonight?
I have none.
Okay. And then we will move on to this is a little different. Usually it's the consent agenda. It's listed as approval of minutes for December 13th, 2021, regular meeting, December 22nd, special meeting.
Yes, the order for this, since we're reorganizing, that will be the case.
I'll move that we approve the minutes from December 13th, regular meeting, and December 22nd, special meeting.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes for December 13th, 2021, regular meeting, December 22nd, 2021, special meeting. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is reorganization of the Board of Trustees. If we could now move to new member oath of office for our trustee elects, Jesse Daniels representing Zone 4 and Brian Craig representing Zone 5.
And we can administer this with one of our trustees, and Greg Giroux has offered to do that.
I mean, to do these individually.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I would do it
Okay.
together is fine.
Okay. Stand up. We can do this all together. We've got a. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
That was on. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and the Constitution of the State of Idaho,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of trustee
of the Joint School District 171
of the Joint School District 171
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Okay, welcome to the district. The next one is election of chair of the Board of Trustees. Do we have any nominations for chair?
I nominate Christine Erbst for chair.
I second.
We have a nomination and second for Christine Erbst for chair. Are there any further nominations? Is there any discussion? Good, then we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries, and I will turn this over to Christine Erbst. Have a good night.
Thank you, Charity.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Charity.
Good night.
Okay, I guess next up is election of a vice chair. Do we have any nominations?
I'm going to nominate Christine St. Germain.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Anything? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Chris, congratulations. You're my
Thank
vice
you.
chair.
I appreciate that from all of you.
Okay, election of clerk. Any nominations for clerk?
I nominate Greg Giroux.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Any other nominations? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Congratulations, Greg. You're our new clerk.
Thank you. I'm taking notes right now.
Came from volunteer to volunteer.
Okay, treasurer. I nominate Brittany Getz.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? You okay with that, Brittany? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Congratulations, Brittany. Okay, so we need to review and sign the code of ethics.
Yes.
Okay, we have those in our packet.
Yes, I gave everybody a copy of that. I believe Chris St. Germain's turned hers in, and so has Greg Giroux. So if you guys will read through those and sign that, that would be great.
All right, next is this establish the signatories.
Yeah, and Brittany, you might help us with this. If there's anybody additional we need to have as signatories in our office. Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, perfect.
So we will need to have our new chairperson sign on our bank accounts along with, we've had some changeover at the office. So Jessica has resigned and now we have Farah Zumhoff, who's our HR. So she'll need to be added to our bank accounts along with Courtney Olson, who is doing our payroll.
Okay.
So
And you're currently on there, right?
yeah, I'm already on there.
Okay.
So I'll stay on there.
I don't know.
Do
Do we need a motion on that?
Yes, we'll need a motion for those. So it was Christine and then Brittany, Farah Zumhoff and then Courtney Olson.
So Madam Chair, I'll move that we have sign on the bank account, Madam Chair Christine Erbst, the new HR manager Farah Zumhoff, and Courtney Courtney Olson, I'm sorry.
And go ahead, if you wouldn't mind renewing Brittany as well on that. Add her to
You
it.
bet, and
Yeah.
Brittany.
Okay, we have a motion to have,
I'll
Uh,
second that.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. All right, next on the agenda is the calendar of regular board meetings, proposed locations and times for the year 2022.
I'll say I like the idea of moving around.
So I just gave
Yeah.
you guys this sample. So we've done it two ways. Our legal counsel usually tells us to try to be in one location. And I've told you guys that so it doesn't look like we're trying to run from anybody or anything. So it's a consistent location. If we had a boardroom, an actual boardroom, that would probably make some sense. Since we do not, What I do miss is having the kids involved and having some programs from our teachers and students and staff at each one of
Yeah.
those, and then us recognizing those when we go there. So this is a tentative schedule. If you guys, the dates are what we're looking at for our board meetings, but if there's other things or other ideas, this is the time to discuss that for sure. And there's actually a motion item, I believe, an action item on down. We can either do it here or. Get it
So
on there.
one question that I did have, Madam Chair, is do we have, we'll have connectivity at all these locations to continue the Zoom engagement?
Russ?
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay.
I think that's really valuable from our
Mhm.
community engagement standpoint.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like the fact that we have Timberline and Youth Challenge scheduled in August and September.
There was some thought that went into that. yes.
Just because.
And sticking with the third Monday, I appreciate, just for my own
Yep.
scheduling.
Any other discussion on that? Is everybody cool with?
And you can see the date changes from the third Mondays. We've got the second Monday on January and February, and then on break, before Christmas break, we generally have it the Monday before that is out, so we're not all coming back after break or while break is going on.
Okay. Are we sticking with if we're having a work session, having it at 6 o'clock
Mhm.
and then have the regular meeting
Yeah.
at 6:30?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
it's on the bottom of that.
Yeah.
Noted on there.
Is everybody good with the times?
Yes.
Yep.
No
Yeah.
problems with that?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess
So,
we'll,
One question while we're in discussion is not about our schedule, but about the school schedule. I've had individuals in the community ask me, when does it get published and where is it published? And I honestly didn't know the time frame.
Yeah, so we do that. I'm getting ready to put together a calendar committee, and that'll be a part of our discussion here in a minute. But last time we did a 2-year calendar, which is perfectly acceptable. So we did 2 years. We published it on our website. We put it on all the school websites. But when we get that committee together, that'll happen somewhere in March. We'll look at that, probably get approved by you guys in April once we do some of that work, but we'll get input from our staff and we'll do some committee on that first.
Thank you
So,
for that.
yep.
okay. All right. Anybody else have anything? No? Okay. Next we'll establish our agenda notice of posting locations. And we did change that last year a little bit to include some further areas up on the hill.
Mhm.
Renette, does anybody have anything to add or any place that you think would be appropriate to add those postings?
With the radio stations, they've asked to, I forget the name of the other or there's another media outlet in Lewiston that I've added to my list. And I forgot to put that on here, but when I
Which
send
was-
that out, man, I can't remember. I think there was another paper over there that we weren't hitting.
Oh, in Lewiston?
Uh-huh. And they asked to be included with our agendas and those type of things. So I just put them on. We're doing it currently. I just didn't put it on this list,
Yeah.
but I will put it on
Lewiston
the list.
Tribune was not on the list. The Clearwater
Yes.
Tribune
Clearwater
was.
Tribune.
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
Lewiston Tribune. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And also I'm assuming on the Facebook page as well,
Mhm.
too. Yeah.
We're putting it on our website and we're putting it out. As I send it out to the schools, they put it on their websites as well. Instagram, anything, media outlets that they have.
Okay.
Yep.
Does anybody else have any ideas pertinent to that?
Greg, are you posting those at the Pierce?
I can honestly say yes. I just
Awesome.
put those up today.
I didn't know if you were printing those off or I needed to bring them to you or.
No.
Okay,
I
perfect.
Worked fine. I just
Okay.
printed it off.
okay.
Okay.
So what's the timeline that don't they need to be 24 hours ahead?
So for a regular meeting, it's 48 hours. For a special meeting, 24. So we can post up, our Monday meetings. I try to get it out on Tuesday as a deadline for some of our local paper. So I try to do that, but it doesn't always have everything attached till the end of the week, just because we don't get all of our links in and all that. And I try to do all those by Friday, and that gives us time.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the posting locations for agendas and notice of meetings.
I'll move that we accept the list of posting notices.
With the addition of the Lewiston Tribune.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we didn't have Facebook page on here either, which would be good. So could include the Facebook page. We've got the website, but not the.
So could you read those locations down for us, Greg, just so that?
Sure. District website, Facebook page, front window at the district office, post office Orofino, WEIP post office, Pierce post office, Pierce library, WEIP library, Skyward message center, window on the Clearwater, Clearwater Tribune, KLER, and Lewiston Tribune.
Is the Orofino post office?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, right
Yep.
on. So that's actually several more than was sent out with the agenda.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
He just read it off the agenda.
Oh, that's not what I saw.
Yeah.
This. Okay. Great. I like them all.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll second that motion, Greg, that you made.
Good.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. All right, so let's move on to the consent agenda.
Yeah, so since we only had a few days, and this was a couple weeks early actually from what we normally have, we haven't got our bills compiled yet. So our plan is to have those bills come to you in February. We've had very few, it's the 10th of January. So, and the same way with the reports coming up, we've only had, well, counting today, we've had what, 4 days of school? 1, 2, 3, part of the third in some places, and yeah, or everywhere, and then today. So we kind of skimped on that just a little bit. There are some reports there that we do have attached, but we don't, not everything didn't have a lot going on that first week except weather.
Okay.
Lots of weather.
So we have no bills to okay, just the financial reports is listed.
Correct. And the financial reports we don't have from the schools either, right? The financial, what's that? I didn't get it attached. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so we could just,
Yeah. We can move on. Yep.
Move
No
on.
action needed.
okay, reports and recognitions. Do we have any appreciations or shout outs to do tonight?
Well, I think it's worth mentioning with all the snow and all that, that we had lots of people doing lots of extra shoveling and pushing and a lot of volunteers out there helping us out. So it was a pretty big thing. And, kind of a particular shout out to Derek Larson too. I mean, him and I communicate early in the mornings, 3:30, 4 o'clock. We're out on the roads trying to figure out what we're going to do and looking at forecasts and everything else. So road crews and all that are all involved. So it's a big process. But and then of course, Russell, whenever it's time to go, he does a lot of the media as well. We've got some good organization there. So it's been good.
Well, and with my community hat on, I'd like to just give a shout out to Derek and Bobby and Andy, the bus drivers for the ski hill. All road conditions, they're making it and doing a great job. So
Yep.
Awesome.
All
Great.
right. Any others? Anybody want to? Okay. All right, any committee reports?
I don't have anything right now. We'll do some committee things down below if that's okay.
Okay. Building reports. I think the only one we received was from Youth Challenge.
Yes. And I believe Ms. Kaczynski's on if you guys have questions. Is she on there, Russell?
Becca's not on.
did they arrive today, Becca? Oh, okay. I think, 15.
Yeah,
Okay,
they've
I know
done
the things are buzzing, so. And there was a lot of traffic last night.
I believe this is the time whenever the guard comes up and does their schedule this week. So there's guard employees coming up and doing training this week
Right on.
with
Yeah.
cadre and all that. So yeah,
I was surprised.
a lot of people coming
Coming
in.
home
Yep.
from the ski hill, and it was a steady stream to
Yep.
Pierce. Yeah. Like an odd time, 6 o'clock on a Sunday night.
Yeah, I think they're going full bore, getting all the registrations done and all that good stuff, all the paperwork into it. So. Okay. And we had superintendent report.
There is a technology report too. Russell sent one. I'll get that attached. I just got it today. So I apologize for that. I think you sent it last week. No, was it today? Okay. So it was today. But I apologize. I had some family in this morning, so I was out of the office.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
but I'll get it attached.
all right. There's nothing else. Anybody have anything else?
Any update on the gyms? Had a few people come to me about the gyms here.
I haven't heard today. Last I talked to Darren Turner was last Thursday, I want to say, and we're having difficulties just getting them in. It's just a shipment. There were two, we have units coming from California, large units for the high school.
Okay.
And then he has other smaller units, two that he's going to put in the gym here at the elementary, but we have not received them yet. So they're still on order. So I'm not sure where he's at. I didn't get a chance to check with him today, but I will.
No timeline as yet on when they're
We
gonna
were
be shipped
hoping,
or-
he said, yeah, they were shipped. He said it was supposed to be, originally said 8 to 10 days, and he told me 4 to 5 days. But then with the weather, with that coming through, I'm not sure if that delayed or not.
So we're getting closer.
Every
Fingers
day,
crossed, we're
every
getting
day,
closer than
yes,
what we were.
yep,
Well,
yep.
that's good news.
Yep. And he's made it a priority. When we get them, he'll get them installed.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yep.
Okay, anything else? No? Okay, discussion items, the pre-K program expansion.
Yeah.
Dr. Gary.
So Jen Leachman is here to do a little discussion on that. You want to kind of give a little presentation or a little update? Come on, you're up here for questions. Come on. So
Don't have a thing.
do you want the
We don't
thing?
Have a thing.
You have the email. You sent an email, right?
Right.
Okay. Let me see if I can find it because I know Mindy,
To us?
she said no, it
Oh,
was,
okay.
it was to Mindy, I believe, and I believe I've got it. Maybe. I'll look.
All right, so this year we moved preschool back into our building. It used to be in our building previously with Peggy Polito for a long, long time. Previous administrator took the program away basically, and so we're rebuilding it. And we're in the class, we have a classroom this year. Well, I share it with Mrs. Kessinger. But in special education, you're supposed to have non-disabled peers in your classroom so that they're learning from other kids that aren't on IEPs. And so we started after break, and we have 2 staff children who are attending our program all day, and then they pay a tuition. So it's daycare and preschool for them, but they're also helping all of our kids with special needs throughout the day. St. Mary's School District does this, and they have for almost 20 years. And so when I reached out to the state to find out legalities there, they told me to contact St. Mary's. And so we are modeling our program around what St. Mary's does. St. Mary's only goes 2 days a week, and we do all 4. Our special needs community right now is very much growing. And so it's important that they're at school 4 days a week.
So what's the situation at Timberline with the same population?
So Timberline still attends Head Start. And right now, currently, I have 4 children on IEPs and 6 new referrals there.
So are the Peck and Cavendish students coming here?
So Peck and Cavendish, we don't have any preschoolers. Stephanie Roper this year does Cavendish special ed, and Charlotte Emberg does Peck.
So what is the tuition that they're paying? How much is that?
It's $300 a month. And my hope is right now is to use that money to buy more supplies for our classroom. I'm finding a lot of things that we don't have. But I would like to also hopefully down the road be able to have more staff, because right now it's just myself and 1 para.
What are the criteria for those paying youth?
So I have a whole thing that I emailed that has all the criteria on it. And I just copied what St. Mary's is. The only difference is St. Mary's right now, it's open to the public, and we are choosing right now to only open it to the school district staff, because the daycare situation in our town is so poor right now. And often our subs shortage is happening because daycares are closing. So we thought if we could take a couple of the kids out of the daycares, that it would help other kids in the community also. But that's just for this year. We wanted to see how it went with not involving the community yet. So we have 2 staff children. And it's only been 4 days.
So what's the ideal number of the special needs children versus the not, what's?
You want it to be 50-50.
50-50.
Right. And so right now we have 3, the special needs students go in the morning, they go to me, and then in the afternoon they go to Head Start and vice versa. So right now in the morning, we have 3 special needs students and 2 staff children. And then in the afternoon, right now we have 2 and 2. But we have 2 more starting
Okay.
on the 22nd.
2 more special needs.
Yes,
So do we no longer have the LCSC Head Start program in Orofino?
correct. We do not. We have Head Start, but it's not,
It's not
oh,
the
sorry,
same.
it's not LCSC. It's a LCECP,
It's our federal Head Start.
Federal Head
Yeah.
Start. Mhm.
Yeah.
And so it's working out really good because the special needs students, they come half a day here and they go a half a day there. So they're really preparing a lot more for kindergarten.
What I have is a summary. I just forwarded to them in an email. But if
Okay.
you had documents with that, I never did receive those from Mindy.
Okay,
So-
there are.
Okay.
Okay,
I know she said there were, but I never did I haven't
Okay.
seen them. So if you could share those with me, and I'll get them to the board as well.
okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So how many kids can we take in the pre-K?
So the ratio for childcare in Idaho is 12-1. My goal is no more than 10 though, because we have some very severely disabled children right now.
So is there a waiting list? I mean, are we-
I did
are we
send out.
excluding?
I did send out the registration form and it has 3 school years on it. So you could register for this year, next year, the next year, and I have started a waiting list for next year.
And are we starting the pre-K program at 3? Is that?
3,
3.
Yep, 3 to 5.
So Dr. Garrett, what exactly, I guess I'm kind of confused as far as expansion, what are we voting on as far as an action item? What
So
is?
the biggest issue, or not issue, the biggest item we need to consider is we're taking money in from another entity where they're
Gotcha.
paying for it.
Okay.
And then, so that it requires board approval to do that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Okay.
that's
I
what
wasn't
I'm asking
sure.
for is the expansion, what they're doing. I have no problem. It's great stuff. And I think we need to expand on. I just want to make sure we have permission to be able to charge, because that model requires payment coming in.
Okay, so it's not any state or federal dollars. we're
Correct,
charging
it's
in-
private
individuals.
and we
So
need
it
a
needs,
mechanism
yes,
to do
Okay.
that.
correct.
Okay. So I guess the question would be, comparing it to daycare, how does the $300 a month? I mean,
It's
I don't
like-
know. I haven't had a kid in
It's
daycare
like
for
almost half
of what?
of what daycare is.
Mhm.
Mhm. So it's a perk of being the staff too.
Right.
When we have a hard time finding like some positions.
So are our supply needs being covered at $300 for 2 kids, which is $600, or would
Yeah.
we be wise to increase that to $500?
I considered it and I looked at what St. Mary's charged and stuff like that. Luckily, right now, because of the way that school lunches are free. So the kids are already getting snack and well, today's snack was lemons, but
Was what?
lemons. They're getting
Yum.
they're getting snack and
That would sour me on lunch.
and breakfast and lunch.
But for
So
300, you get a
um,
good deal.
that helps a lot with the cost is that
Oh.
the meals are being provided besides I do supplement snacks for them.
So you said 10-1, that is 10 students per 1 teacher.
Correct.
So we have 2 non-special needs students now.
Right.
Do we have the capacity, the space to get 5? To add
We
3
do.
more? Okay.
We do. I only had 2 people interested to start with. And so we wanted to see how it went with the 2.
I quite frankly, I'm a little bit perplexed. I don't know what to think.
So if we desire 50/50,
Mhm.
does it behoove us to open it to the community?
I think, yes, I think down the road we should. Everything is new this year. This whole program is new, so we're building it all from the
And-
scratch.
And
So,
new as of calendar year or new as if we started in the school year and you're giving us an update?
well, preschool, special ed, having a classroom started at the school year. Staff kids started last week.
Okay. So I guess just thinking about this, and I'm kind of thinking out loud here because this is the first that
Mhm.
we've dove into this, is I think, I mean, staff kids is fine. I think that's great, but I think that eventually we should open it up to the community.
Agreed.
But I think that
Mhm.
would be, because if we can't really look at it, I feel we can't really look at it as a perk for a teacher to have here, you can put your kids here instead of putting them in daycare and it's cheaper. I don't think, especially when the numbers are limited,
Mhm.
because we hire a new teacher at the high school and she's got a 3-year-old and there's no room to put him in here. That's really not fair.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
So
I agree. And I think that that's where we are headed, looking forward, is to opening it up.
to community.
Mhm.
So I would make a motion, Madam Chair, that we allow acceptance of outside dollars from individuals that are facilitating the expansion of our pre-K program through the addition of non-special needs youth to the classroom.
Are we still on discussion items?
Oh,
Or are we
Yeah,
on the
we're still
action?
discussing.
Okay, sorry.
sorry.
You can repeat that here in just a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember what you
We'll
said.
get there.
It's
Save
going
that
back
up.
and forth.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can
really
make
good.
You did that really well.
We did up front. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they're kind of repeats. Okay.
So I just want to chime in. What you had said is absolutely what I had told our special ed director as well, is, the trial basis to see if we can handle this capacity and if we got the people and what this is going to entail.
Mhm.
Absolutely, it's going to need to be open to everybody.
Mhm.
Right.
This was just a first step of saying, can we? And how does that look? And we looked at
Right.
St. Mary's. I know they did a lot of research with St. Mary's, and it was a beginning step. So I don't anticipate this lasting long. for
Long, just
this,
probably,
yeah.
yeah. And that would all too depend on the funding for the pre-K program at the state
Yes.
level, depending on what
Yeah.
they do with that too,
Yep.
I'm assuming.
Mhm.
Because that could potentially change the whole complexion of the whole thing drastically.
Yep. And there's lots of discussion in the state, as you well know, with more funding for early childhood and full day
Right.
kindergarten, pre-K, those type of things. So there's some things on the table there. We're just trying to be ahead of the curve and be ready for it.
So just to be clear and kind of recap this for everybody's understanding, what Jen is talking about is having non-special needs kids and special needs kid for the learning environment, if you will,
Correct.
for that, and having right now their staff members' children, and they are paying. So we want to be able to accept the outside funds for that service for those kids. Is that
Yes. Correct.
Correct.
correct? And this is just a temporary situation until
Yes. And they call it peer model. So
peer models. Okay,
Mhm.
good to know.
Mhm.
That's good to know.
How many local daycares do we have?
We have Cheap and Sisterly Love and Clearwater Kids, but Clearwater Kids, as of what I have heard last, they don't have a location once Night Force removes them from the building they're in. Oh, yes, and one at the Methodist Church.
And you said that this $300 is significantly less than those daycares. And what's the difference? The education side of it versus just a daycare?
There really isn't. I just kind of looked at what St. Mary's was doing and they were charging $150 and they only go 2 days a week. So I just
Gotcha.
doubled it.
I think it's a great program for staff retention.
Mhm.
The only concern I would have making it public is that we're competing with private business.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's the name we want our community,
Right,
if we're going to be significantly less.
right.
So just a thought, not saying one way or another. That's just what comes to my
Mhm.
mind. Can definitely stir up a hornet's nest.
Yeah, I think down the line, as we dive into this further, we're going to have to take a really long, hard look at the impacts of everything and the costs and all
Mhm,
that. I think that's probably going to be a huge discussion.
mhm.
I do think pre-K is really, really important
Yeah.
for success for kids in general. So
I
thanks
will
for
s-
doing that.
I will say the growth that I've seen in the kids this year, having 4 days a week versus 2 half days a week that they were getting last year is significant.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think really what we're seeing, and I think you guys are understanding, I know I'm just repeating myself, is just trying to get our toes in the water because we know something needs to be done. We just don't have that answer yet, but we're just trying to explore and figure out what that is.
Yeah.
You know,
And we
so-
probably will have an answer as far as state funding on the pre-K
Absolutely, yeah.
programs soon.
Yeah,
I
we
would
hope
think.
so. So yeah, I'm hoping that we can expand and be able to provide services for kids who have those special needs as well. It's just we just are trying to figure out how.
Yeah.
So kudos to them for taking, a risk and trying to do something a little bit outside the box too. So we appreciate that.
Every day I'm learning something new.
Yeah. So at this time, we're not approving $300. We're approving the ability to accept outside dollars.
Yes. Okay.
And that way we can spend it too.
And that's really what brought this up. I mean, we probably wouldn't bring it to the board if we were providing the service without the income. It's when we receive dollars that are different than our norm, it's up to you guys to accept that.
Yeah. Understood. Okay. All right. Anything else on that? No. Okay. All right. We kind of already talked about the board meeting calendar, so I think we can move on
Yep.
from that.
Yep.
And board committees.
Yeah, so what I'd like to do, every year we try to commit to this a little bit and then it kind of falls through, but I'd like to get you guys involved on some committees. So I'm just going to kind of run down this list. This planning committee, I know Greg had talked about being interested in that, and some of the things, the last meeting I think we had, you had talked about some of the things you learned at the ISBA convention. And when we do like our, what's it called? The plan? Yeah, strategic plan. Sorry.
Yeah.
When we do our strategic plan and looking at a committee, so we have a few more community members involved with that and some of our employees, yourself included, or you guys as board members. So that's one. The next one that was down was safety. We're required to do safety items at basically every board meeting. And we do that, whether it's health is considered safety as well. And then of course, any safety items. And then annually we meet with our local law enforcement, emergency first responders, and develop those plans for emergency evacuations and et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot to that. So that I'd like to have a couple of you on those committees as well. And then we do that annually, like I said, but I'd like to do it just a little bit more often because that changes pretty quickly. The health one, Casey Downing. Wow, I'm doing well today. Mine's somewhere else. She's going to head that up. So, she's got the expertise. She's our district nurse. I'd like to have some of you guys on that as well. And that'll include things such as our safe return to school plan, which has been our COVID plan required by law, and looking at some of those protocols as well. So we'll get that rolling. Our calendar committee is that you guys already talked about that. I'd like to have you guys setting on that one as well. And then negotiations committee, and we've had a couple every year on that. And I know you guys had talked about doing that again, which was Christine and Greg. So that'd be great if you guys want to continue that. So if you guys want to kind of look at those, it's not something we have to, make emotions on or anything like that. It's just something to think about. And the calendar committee, I've got several employees on that that sign up for it, and we're going to start meeting probably here in the next couple of weeks, and I'll be sending that out. So if you're interested, let me know. And any of these, if you're interested, let me know, and we'll help get those set up, and we'll get those rolling. I'll help get those created. So, any thoughts, questions, or?
I'd be interested in safety and health or the calendar, either one.
Okay.
So safety and health are combined here, but you spoke of them separately.
Yeah, we'll probably keep those separate for the most part. Just because of what we have to do with our planning at this point, requirements by the state, it's probably good. But overall, we could probably put those together eventually, once we get through this year.
Any other input, discussion on that?
So currently, just so you guys are kind of aware of like our safe return to school plan, I gave you guys, or I have some copies of the latest CDC recommendations and on quarantines and some of those things. You don't have that one. Blue is the new and behind it is the old. And what I'd like to do is, as a district, and once we get through all of this and get our committee together, and then in February, we'll have this, it'd be a good time to revamp our revisit. So let me back up a little bit. We're required to meet with our committee again in January, and I'd like for you guys to be part of that review. And then if there's any changes, we would approve those in February at our regular meeting. So currently, the new CDC standards recommendations are less than what we currently have approved for quarantines, those type of things. So we'd like to, we've basically implemented those. I've kind of taken that administrative leap and said, hey, this is less restrictive. Let's go ahead and do this. Is Casey on there, Russell? Yeah. So would you mind putting her in so she could speak to that as well? I know there's some new things coming up, and if you have questions for her on that. So we're looking at doing a little bit less restrictive, and eventually, I think our goal, like we've all said, is to get to, if you're not feeling well, you're sick, fever, whatever, stay home, and if you're fever free for 24 hours, like our policies always said, well, then you can return. So that's really where we're headed with that. But for right now, until we get the committee and together and see what everybody has input on, I think this will be a good piece. So, and again, we'll have action on that next time. But for right now, if you guys just kind of give me the thumbs up on, we'll do this administratively, and then if next time we'll really do whatever the committee says, then I'm good with that. Casey, are you on there? Okay, sorry. Casey, can you hear us? At any rate, if you guys have questions, I guess we can answer those. And I just want to give you that kind of just so you'd see what's going on. And currently, the wording that we had back in September, I believe it was the 2% of our students test positive, student population test positive in any school, then we would close down for a period of time, and then 25% of the population. And that still stands. And then, of course, quarantines, those type of things are what we're seeing, this is probably a little better call here with the 5 days and 5 days return with mask.
So this is just basically for information at this point in time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And again, administratively, we've took that liberty to say this is what we're going to do this. It seems like it makes more sense. So until you guys in February, we'll review this. And I think having a committee on this and having them reviewing those CDC guidelines and our local policies and all those type of things and setting that is important to have. And we're required, again, I'll get you guys involved, whoever's on that committee, even deeper into that, what the state little check boxes we have to tick to do those things. So.
All right. Anything else on committees?
Yeah, I guess my question is there any other particular committees that you guys have in mind that we're missing that you'd be interested in serving on? I think this is a really good start. Policy. Yeah, we have a policy committee currently, and any of you guys that would like to be on policy committee, absolutely, please join.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to.
Okay.
For that.
And currently, Brian, just kind of bring you up to speed, and I think I told you this the other day, that we have our policy committee will review. We did a full policy review. So we're to the point of doing those quarterly reviews. And then if there's any other things that come up, and sometimes there'll be administrators or, employees or whoever can bring something up and be like, well, you're right, that doesn't look right. So then I'll bring those to you guys as well, kind of rework, we'll do that as a policy committee and reword them. So we'll probably be meeting again. It'll be probably the end of January, 1st of February. So I'll put you on that list. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Garrett, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Casey.
I finally figured it out. Sorry, I'm on my phone because we don't have internet up at the house yet.
Oh.
But I can kind of fill you guys in. I know you were talking about the new CDC guidelines that you were going to get implemented. And then we are currently getting COVID tests sent to us from the state to be able to test our employees for the quarantine or exposures after their day 5. So that's where we're at in that, and making a COVID test plan and a policy in place that I'll have ready for the board by their next meeting to be able to go over it in detail with you guys. And then just kind of changing a few things in the going forward with the safe to return to school, implementing that we are able to test our staff now in the new quarantine guidelines.
Voluntarily.
Yes, of course. It just kind
checking.
of helps us. They've had some problems up at the hospital having like 6-hour turnaround time for their exposure tests. So this would allow us to not have to maybe get a substitute. I can come in early, do the testing for them, and have that turnaround in a half hour and save them a day of work instead of having to get that sub and waste kind of time there.
In addition to that, so Casey's able to do that, and we can go to the Youth Academy does a little bit different on their testing, and they do a little bit more routine. So if they get behind and have an outbreak or whatever you want to say, she can go up and help them, assist them as well. So that'll be a good piece to that as well. Yeah, so Casey will be heading up that committee, and we'll get that date set, and we'll get people involved with that and get everybody on board so we can discuss that by the February meeting.
This is the health committee.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Anything else, Casey, that you'd like to add?
No, that's it. I think the new guidelines are a little nicer for the students and allowing them to return to school a little sooner.
Great.
Mhm.
All right, thank you, Casey. I'll be in
Yep.
touch.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Put me on that committee, Dr. Garrett, please.
Okay.
All righty. Anything else? We good? Okay, let's move on to action items. First one is the calendar. So we need a motion.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'll
move
we-
that we accept the calendar as printed for our meetings for 2022.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Okay, next, pre-K program expansion.
So I move that we, I wish I could have recorded. like this.
Me too, because
I-
you know
I
I'm
move that-
really bad at that
Yeah,
stuff.
so, yeah, I move that we accept outside dollars to facilitate non-special needs student engagement within the pre-K program in Orofino, or district-wide,
Does that work?
excuse me.
Do we need to call it tuition? Okay, all right.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries.
Do we need a motion so she can expend as well?
No.
Okay. I will modify.
It'll now become part of our budget, so we can expend that, and then you guys will approve the expenditures as they come.
Financial
Yeah.
reports.
Okay. Okay, next, the closure of accounts. And I think we discussed those last meeting. And Brittany, do you have?
So we currently have 3 bank accounts that we do not use. They
Mhm.
haven't been utilized. I know the year before even I came, so it's been a couple years. Banks can't even find history besides the little tiny bit of interest that we have gained on them. So we have one at Potlatch Credit Union. It was a savings account. I believe it was opened so that we could open a credit card with Potlatch, which now they've moved that onto a different servicing company. So we don't need to keep that open anymore. We're actually being charged fees to keep it open. So I'd like to close that one. And then we have two with Wells Fargo Bank. Again, these have held balances for quite some time. Cannot find the last time they were utilized. No idea why we have them, to be honest. So we're at the point I've done reviews with Wells Fargo in order to have the proper fraud protection and everything on these accounts. Again, it's going to start charging us fees. So we're gaining interest at like 44 cents a month on these. The fees will cost us more than any
Okay.
interest we'll ever gain. So these accounts are literally just costing us money at this point.
So there's no money in them. per
There's
se.
money in them, but what'll
That's
happen is I'll
this-
just move them to our general account.
Okay. How much
So-
is it, just out of pure curiosity?
We have the two Wells Fargo, there's 52,121 in the one and then 78,773 in the other.
Oh, okay.
But like I said, they're all incorporated in our whole balance anyway in our budget. So it's not like
That's
they're
fine.
separated out. So it'll just be taking them, they're considered an interest checking. So I think maybe at one point they gained good interest back in the day.
So,
don't know, but they're
from
not
what-
now.
What we understand is currently our money it kind of goes through a clearinghouse. There's like a middleman between our bank account and our state payments. And that's really what we feel like these were set up before, because that hadn't been around very long. So there was a different account, so you could pull your money into your regular account. You could pull it off or pull it into these accounts and then pull it off to pay out of a different account. So it's kind of that clearinghouse at the time. There were some auditing things at the time that were, I know we used to do that years back. It was very common. So I'm assuming, we don't know that for sure, but it's probably what that was for. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions for Brittany? or any of the board
Good job
members?
finding these accounts that
Okay.
are getting used.
Yeah. Who knew?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, can we get a motion then?
Thank you, Brittany.
I'll move, we close the accounts. Potlatch Credit Union ending X03, Wells Fargo ending X3407 and X7079.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, next is the transfer of the management of the Nelson Fromelt Scholarship Fund to the Timberline Alumni Association.
And this one, we talked about all of our, all of our accounts and these foundations that are going to go out to students and those type of things. You as a board will no longer manage those. So they'll have to have a governing board. We will still be the bank, basically, right? We will be, or we can transfer all of it. So we can actually have that. And as that board says, yes, we're going to spend this X number of dollars on this student for this account or for this scholarship, well, then we could do the check, or they could. So we just they've agreed to take this over, and I think it'll be a good addition to their.
And those scholarship funds were specifically for Timberline too.
Yes,
And I think
yes,
that's
that's
important
correct.
that people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, this one
Yeah.
is. There are two more, is that correct, that are Orofino
Yeah.
High School that we are still looking for a group or an organization to take those over, and we will do that as soon as
Okay.
we can.
Okay. Any discussion on that? Anything, anybody? No? Okay. Can you get a motion?
I'll move, we transfer the management of the Nelson and Fromelt Scholarship Fund to the Timberline Alumni.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, next, approval of the emergency closures that we had last week in beautiful.
And back in
Or
December as
county.
well, 12/14 as well, we had a
Okay,
late
so.
start, early dismissal. So there were three there as listed. We have to turn in a report to the state that
Yeah.
says you guys approve those. So
Okay. So I can get a motion? Anybody have anything else on that?
I'll move that we accept the emergency closure for 12/14. Is that Timberline School?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
12/14, 2021 for late start, early dismissal. And second hour late start
Yeah.
for,
It was a whole district,
yeah, whole district, 1/5/2022.
and then all schools on 1/6.
Yeah.
I added
Okay.
those on.
Oh, you did?
Yep,
Yeah.
it's in
Oh.
yellow here, sorry.
Oh,
They've
thank
been
you,
added, yep.
Mike. Okay. On all schools for 1/6.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve the emergency closures at Timberline schools on 12/14/2021, late start and early dismissal, 2-hour late start 1/5/2022, and all schools closed on 1/6/22. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay, next we have the new hires and separations. Anybody have any questions or anything on that? Welcome back, Farah.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, Mindy, bye.
Yeah, bye-bye, Mindy.
No, no.
It's good people.
Yep.
Okay, so can I get a motion?
I'll move, we accept the new hires and separations
I'll second.
as presented.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Okay. Do we have anything for, no?
Nope. I have no executive session.
Okay, any input for future agenda for the next agenda, the next regular meeting on Valentine's Day? Russ? Oh, do we have anything for Becca? Hi, Becca. Okay. All right, so any board input for the next meeting? Nope. Everybody good? All right. Anything else? Okay.
Just the next meeting is on the second Monday, not.
Oh, because
third,
of
because yeah,
President's
there's a
Day.
holiday. Yep,
Yeah,
on the third.
so
So yep,
we're-
it's a week early. Yep, just want to
Yeah.
reiterate
So
that.
just like January will be a week early.
Right. And then we'll go back to the third Monday.
Okay. All right. Anybody have anything else? Welcome, Brian. Welcome, Jesse.
Thank you.
Right on.
All right. All
Thank
right.
you all.
Meeting is adjourned.